Hi folks, and welcome back to Broadside Gaming with me, Zug. So today we're carrying on with the Ogryn builds, and we're taking a look at a Gunlugger. So let's jump in and see what we're using. So first off is our melee weapon. We're going with the Bully Club, more specifically the Brunt's Basher Mark 3B. Now this thing used to be like S tier melee weapon for the Ogryn. It's still really, really good, but it has been knocked off of that top slot. But for this build, it's incredibly good. So let's jump in and look at the modifiers. So we're going with damage, mobility, finesse, and penetration, lol. And our dump stat is defense, because it's just the dump stat I always use. Perk-wise, we're going with flak, because it is the most prevalent armor type in the game. And carapace, this is going to help us whittle down crushers, maulers, and the heavily armored targets. Now for the blessings, we're going with Confident Strike, which is going to give us 8% toughness on chained hit. So doing lots of hits is going to help us farm back that toughness. And we're also going to take Thunderous. Now this is actually going to help us deal with those heavier targets. So crushers and maulers basically. As hitting an enemy gives them 4 stacks of 2.5% brittleness. Debuff lasts 5 seconds and can have a maximum of 16 stacks. So brittleness is just rending that you apply to a target. So this is going to give you, let me wheel out my incredible mathematics machine. This is going to apply 40% increased damage to the target through rending. So it's quite good. And it's a very, very quick weapon. As you can see, and it's got some really nice attack patterns on it. Lots of wide sweeps. And most of them are kind of aimed at the head as well. So your medium swing, like where it always goes through the middle, is going to be generally at the head. And of course your block push is a nice overhead strike. And your special attack is just hilarious, to be honest. I like it. What's not funny about slapping things? There you go. That is your melee weapon. As for your ranged weapon, it's going to be the twin-linked heavy stubber. The Achilles variety, which is the Mark 7. As for the modifiers, they are wrong. I haven't actually made another heavy stubber yet because I'm incredibly lazy. And I have no cash to do it, so there you go. What you want is collateral as the dump, not ammo. So damage, ammo, range, and stability are going to be max, and collateral is going to be our dump. As for the perks, we're going with unyielding and flak, because this is going to be your boss-killing weapon. So unyielding is just good for that, and flak because, again, it's the most prevalent armor type, so you're going to get the most damage taking that bonus. And also it helps us hit those breakpoints, because the Achilles is the weakest version, and with extra flak on it, it kind of hits a bit higher than it should be able to. As for the blessings, we're going with Blaze Away and Overwhelming Fire. Blaze Away gives us plus 8% strength for every 10% of the magazine spent during continuous fire. And Overwhelming Fire gives us plus 10% strength for every 4 single target hits lasting 2 seconds and stacking 5 times. It's a very good way of shredding a single target. Generally, monstrosity, like a beast of Nurgle, that sort of thing. As for the curios, I'm going to say it, I've said it in every single one. At the moment, this is what I prefer to use. I twin up a toughness curio and use 1 maximum health. Lots of different people have lots of opinions on this. This is just how I'm doing it at the moment, and I've found it works. So if you don't like how I'm doing it, do it however you prefer to do it. The health one is plus 21% max health with 5% toughness, 12% stamina regeneration to make stamina regeneration start faster, and damage resistance to gunners. The other 2 are twinned with 5% toughness, 20% damage resistance to snipers, and 20% damage resistance to gunners. Now, the reason I take sniper resist is because as an Ogryn, you are a giant target, and you cannot always dodge every single one of them. You can probably dodge 2 or 3, but there's always going to be an extra one that you don't see. And this is just generally going to help with that chip damage. I say chip, it's more of a crack. there you go. That is the gear. Let's jump into the talents. So we're starting off fairly standard for most Ogryns, which is this, which is Furious. For each enemy you hit during the same heavy melee attack, you gain 2.5% damage on your next melee attack into the best defense. Replenish 20% toughness after hitting multiple enemies with a single heavy melee attack. This is really good combined with Confident Strike. Into Toughness Boost. Into Smash 'em. Replenish 20% toughness after hitting a single enemy with a heavy melee attack. Into Heavyweight, the best talent in the tree, plus 30% damage against Balks, Crushers, Plague Organs, and Reapers. Also receiving plus 30% damage reduction against the same. Then into Linchpin, toughness replenishment while incoherence is increased by 50%. Always stay in coherency if you can. Toughness damage boost into Frag Bomb. You throw a big old bomb. I'm going to read that again because I'm sick of reading it. Basically, this is your get out of jail free card, your wave clear, your holy crap, things are going wrong. As this will pretty much clear an entire wave for you, especially if you're in a tight cornered map. If your team is being overwhelmed or you just need that burst of damage, the Frag Bomb is going to do it for you. But do keep in mind you only get one of them. So don't hold on to it for the entire game, but, you know, use it when you really think you need to. Soften them up. Enemies damaged by you take 15% more damage for 5 seconds. This works in both melee and ranged. Taking the toughness damage reduction here and toughness boost here. And then we're taking Point Blank Barrage. Swaps to and reloads your ranged weapon. Do keep that in mind because a lot of people do seem to forget that. As soon as you hit F or whatever your special button is, you will immediately swap to and have a fully loaded weapon. So the more you become used to this, the more you'll know you don't have to waste time reloading. But anyway, you have plus 25% rate of fire, plus 70% reload speed, and 50% reduced braced movement speed penalties, and gain 15% close range damage for the next 10 seconds. The reload speed's not going to matter that much because of the amount of ammo we have in the gun, so you're probably not going to be able to reload it. Then we're taking Bullet Bravado while Point Blank Barrage is active. God, mushmouth. When Point Blank Barrage is active, there we go, replenish plus 2% toughness for every shot fired and 10% toughness on each reload. And then we're taking Light Them Up. Ranged attacks apply 2 stacks of burn while Point Blank Barrage is active. It does work out better than Hail of Fire. I don't know why, it just does. Probably because the burns work the same sort of way as bleed. Not as much diminishing returns from them as I guess you do with rending. Then into Reload Boost, and then into Ammo Stash. Increases your ammo reserve by 25%. Into Suppression Boost, and then we're taking Coward Culling. Plus 20% damage against suppressed enemies if you and your allies are in coherency. Range damage boost, into toughness boost, into melee damage boost. Then we're going to be taking Delight and Destruction, plus 8% damage resistance per bleeding enemy in melee range, stacking 6 times. And then we're taking Dominate for plus 10% rending for 10 seconds on elite kill, and toughness damage reduction. Now, we're not going to be doing much bleeding, but a lot of other people do, so this is just going to be nice. Especially if you're in a pre-made group, usually the veteran or the zealot is going to be applying bleeds, so that's how we're going to take advantage of that. Of course, if you don't want to, you can go the too stubborn to die and no stopping me route. It's completely up to you. Now into the middle. Get stuck in. On activating your combat ability, you and your allies in coherency gain 20% movement speed and are also immune to stun and suppression. Bruiser, 4% combat ability cooldown reduction when you and your allies in coherency kill an elite enemy. Into a toughness boost. Into Won't Give In. Plus 20% damage reduction for each knocked down or incapacitated ally within 20 meters. This is going to be a bit of your get out of jail free card, or at least help you clutch if you can. And then health boost, and last but not least, we're taking Feel No Pain. And that is mostly because this tree is absolute crap, at least in my opinion. I wish it was better, because it would make the Gunluggers a lot more powerful, but it just really isn't that good. Most of the Ogryn tree really does need a bit of a rework. It's not great. There are very few paths to actually take in different builds, as you've probably noticed this week. Most builds kind of take the same sort of meandering path. But the ranged tree with burst limit override, it just isn't great. I really wish it was, but it's not. So we're taking Feel No Pain, and this is generally going to make you incredibly tough. So, what we're doing with the build? Well, it's very, very powerful, but also there's not much to it. If there is a monstrosity, you press F, and you watch it die. Anything that's not heavily armoured is going to get absolutely shredded. Obviously, you want to be bracing, because as you can see there, if you don't brace, the gun is going to bounce around like a greased puppy. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage against carapace armored enemies. You can hose them down if you want to, but you're wasting a lot of ammo, especially on Havoc. But anything that's not heavily armoured, that thing is going to absolutely shred. For heavier stuff, we have the melee weapon. And also a lot of talents in the tree which are going to help us boost through. Obviously you're not one-shotting it because you're not generally a melee, but you know, you're an Ogryn, so half of everything you're going to do is going to be melee. But with Thunderous and a few of the other rending talents, we can get through the armour pretty easily. So yeah, just be warned. Try not to waste your ammo on crushers if you can. Again, carapace is not going to take much of anything from a twin-linked gun. Everything else, though, works fine. Black, unarmoured. It's not really bothered by him. But yeah, carapace, it's going to make a mockery of your gun. So always try and switch over to your melee weapon for that. But your F ability does make you an absolute beast. And the more specials you kill, the more elites you kill, the more access you have to it. But just do keep an eye on your ammo, because as you can see, just me messing about there, we blew through most of it. Which is one of the sad things about this build. It's not massively sustainable. You will end up fighting the veterans for ammo. And it could be so much better. I really want this build to be better, because it's just not. It's a fun build to use. I wouldn't suggest taking it into Havoc. It's just not up to snuff. Like Auric and Damnation and all that, yeah, absolutely fine. I wouldn't take this into Havoc. But if you're looking to just play around with it, this is how I would do it. So I hope you enjoy, folks, and if you did, please do like and subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It really does help us out, and I shall see you all for the next one. So until then, take it easy, and I'll see you later.